This week's Torah portion is Vayetze, and he went out. Jacob went out. So what do we learn from that? How do we know that Jacob always wore a yarmulke? Because it said he went out. You think Jacob would ever go outside without a yarmulke? So this is the story also where Jacob gets married. So that's why I am portraying the wedding of Jacob. So what did he do? His mother said, you better leave town. Go to my hometown and find a bride. I don't want you to marry any of the girls around here the way Esau did. Go to your uncle. He is there, Lavan, and find the girl for you. So he gets there, he does that, and who does he see right off the bat? The most beautiful girl he ever saw, and she was feeding the camels. He went over to her, and it was his cousin. That's true, it was the right girl. God led him to the right girl. And so then he went to the father of the girl, and he said, Lavan, I want to marry your daughter because she's beautiful. And Lavan said, yes, you can. But he was a real trickster, because he did not want this daughter to marry him, because he wanted his older daughter to marry first. She was not good looking, and she didn't look that nice, and he couldn't get rid of her. How would it look then if first the younger daughter gets married? So he made a secret code between the younger daughter and they decided they will know the code that he should say, and then Jacob will hear the code and he'll think he's marrying Rachel. They fool him. And what did she do? Rachel, she was such a nice girl. She said to her father, okay, I will give the secret code to my sister, and she will get married ahead of me, because it doesn't look nice otherwise, which he did. He gave the code, and what happened after that is his story, because he married the wrong girl. The next day, he gets up. Where is Rachel, my love, the love of my life? He married the sister. She was not his type. And all his life, he loved Rachel more than the sister. But he did marry the sister first, and he did his duty to the sister. So what did he do? He made her pregnant, and she had 7 boys. Every year she was pregnant, and she was happy about that, although she felt very unloved. But so far as Rachel is concerned, finally she got pregnant. She gave birth to Joseph. And then she had 2 more children through her maid. And then, unfortunately, they were on the trip home, which is unbelievable, and Benjamin died. And they made a very big cave where they buried Benjamin, which exists to this day. And every year, even during the year, thousands of people go to the cave in Israel just to pray to God, because Rachel is known as the mother of the Jewish nation. They have thousands of people every year just to go there. So we know we have cave of Rachel even until today. But this portion of the Sedra was about marriage. And I know my audience always loves when I tell jokes. because life cannot be that serious, marrying an old girl, you know. So, what's the first story I want to tell you? Why does a bridegroom have to stamp his foot on the glass in a Jewish wedding and break the glass? You know why? Because that's the last time he'll ever put his foot down in the marriage. And I tell you, my husband, he married me. He never saw anybody put the glass, break the glass, and we told him, you have to break the glass. So he said, Harry first, that's my husband, was the only bridegroom in the history of the world who put his foot on a glass and made a case out of it. Because my husband was not religious, he didn't understand. So now I want to tell you about weddings. Today, there are all kinds of denominations getting married, you understand. So how do we know what is an Orthodox, that joined an Orthodox wedding? You know how you know? The mother of the bride is pregnant. How do you know you're at a conservative wedding? The bride is pregnant. Today, how do we know you're attending a Reform wedding? The rabbi is pregnant. So you heard about the woman, she tried to go into the ceremony for the wedding, but the usher said to her, who are you? Are you a friend of the bride? She said, no, I am the mother of the bridegroom. Are you a friend of the bride? Very funny, very funny. Now I want to tell you, marriage is a very serious thing. We all know that. So, what is marriage? When the groom, he loses his, what does he lose? His bachelorhood. And the bride, she gets a master's degree. Very funny, that's about marriage, right? So what else? You heard about this guy? He got married, and what did he say? I was happy. I did not know what happiness is until I married you. But now it's too late for me. There's so many jokes about marriage that today people are not into marriage so much. They're into divorce. We know that, we know. So now I spoke to you about Rachel and Lavan. He cheated, and now Jacob packed up his bags and he went back to his old town, to his old family, and he wanted to make up with Esau. He's going to make peace now, and he's going together. He's going to establish now the house of the Jews. He's going to make a kingdom with King Solomon. He's going to become the chosen people as God has promised him, and to Abraham and to Jacob. And now he's going to have as many children as there are stars in the sky. That's later in the history. First he has to get home, make peace with everyone, and then we're going to have the Mashiach today again, to build up a Jewish nation as God promised, because we see all the miracles that God has given us, and therefore we know that the Mashiach is on its way. Ani Mamen, Ani Mamen, Ani Mamen. Mashiach, Mashiach.